Right, good afternoon. I've got David Llewellyn with me today, and we're going to talk about one of the frameworks you manage, which has got a very good name, Demolition and Land Preparation. So I think maybe the first thing, David, is just explain what that means.
Yeah, so demolition's fairly self-explanatory. So half of the framework has a number of demolition work types on it. So that could be demolition of a building anywhere from 1 story to a high-rise building that we quite often see across our cities. It could be the demolition of some more unusual structures. For an example, cooling towers, power station, anything like that really. And then on the other side of that, we have the land remediation work types. So that's more to do with the ground itself. So, sometimes they can go hand in hand. You might have to demolish a building and then subsequently remediate it to make it fit for building something else on it. But that could also be, contaminated land. So that would need to be treated, made and remediated again, ready for future developments. One of the examples of a project that went through one of our other frameworks and subsequently led to the idea of this framework was the Festival Gardens in Liverpool. So that's an old landfill site, and that's currently going through a remediation process to make it ready for a future development. So that's what we mean by land remediation.
Okay, so knocking stuff down,
yeah,
and then getting the ground ready.
Yeah,
and they might come hand in hand, or they might not.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, okay. So this is probably the sort of beginning point for our frameworks, because we have a number of frameworks in construction which take us on that sort of journey. So this is a really quite an important one then in terms of that journey. But let's start by just explaining how the framework is structured.
Yeah. So this framework is split across 3 different dimensions. So like most of our frameworks, they're split by value bands. So we have a 0 to 250 lot, 250k that is. We have a 250k to 500,000. We have a 500,000 to 5 million, and then we have a 5 million plus. So we've got 5 value bands in total. They're then split geographically. And then after that, they're then split by those work types again. So for an example, we might have a lot in the northwest, which is split by those 5 value bands, and then split again by those 9 specific work types, being either a demolition work type or a land remediation work type. Within the lots themselves, we have a core and a reserve structure in place. So there'll be 6 core contractors on each lot and 3 reserve contractors, or I should say up to. There can be up to 6 or up to 3. And the differentiation between the core and the reserve is that the cores will be involved in a further opportunity should they positively express an interest. The reserves will be involved in the further competition if we don't meet the client's minimum requirement for tenderers from the core. In terms of direct award, that works regardless of whether you're a core or reserve contractor. So whilst you might not be guaranteed to take part in a further competition as a reserve contractor, you can still put work through the framework and be awarded projects as a direct award.
And that's a really interesting point, that. I mean, I think, we sort of at Pagabo brought that particular concept to market to really sort of, we're always trying to be big on differentiation and changing the way sort of our marketplace operates. But that's quite an interesting point there that you've made there, how the direct award and further competitions can work.